Hello, everyone. My name is Ara. I am on the product marketing team here at Apollo. I want to give a warm welcome. We're very excited to walk through some of our new releases. Thanks again for joining. Today's agenda really quick. We will go over Apollo as our company intro. We'll do some quick product themes for 2020. We'll share our recent releases, what features have come out most recently. We'll then share our future product roadmap, and then we'll definitely leave time for Q&A. But again, reminder to keep it in that questions chat as opposed to the chat. With no further ado, I'm so excited to announce Krishan, who will be leading our webinar, and we'll pass it to him.
Hey everyone, I'm Krishan, our VP of Product Design and Growth at Apollo. Super excited to be talking to everyone here. I think this is our first time doing a formal webinar to update everyone around our, what's coming up next in the roadmap, what's recently been released. But this is going to start to become a quarterly thing, and we're extremely excited to build just a deeper relationship with you all. First thing on the agenda, so we did just raise a $110 million Series C round led by Sequoia Capital, one of the top VCs in the space. We're extremely excited about the potential of what this enables us to do for you as customers. So a lot of this money is going to be reinvested back into product design, growth, engineering, and marketing. So you should start to see quite an acceleration of the types of things that we start to release within Apollo itself. 3 key themes in terms of what we're going to be focused on for 2022 is 1, making sure that we truly do become the #1 B2B data provider in the world. So in terms of accuracy, coverage, the depth of the type of data and research that we offer, we have the means to build, the best database in the world based on our data contributory network that is much larger than any of the competitors at this time. So we want to make sure to really leverage that to provide you with the quality and the coverage that you deserve. 2 is around intelligence. So we realize that we have users at different levels of understanding of what modern sales looks like. But it's hard for people to dig through the right analytics, dig through the right research to figure out what they should do next in their strategy. So one thing we'll be working on is trying to proactively provide you with insights on how you can improve your strategy, how you can set more meetings, how you can drive more revenue, and so on. And the third thing is superior engagement. So as you probably know, there's a lot of sales engagement tools out there right now. One of the benefits of Apollo is that we're what you call a compound startup, where because we have multiple products, because we have a database product, an enrichment product, an analytics product, and so on, each one of those adjacent products make one product much better. So we're trying to figure out ways right now on how can we make our sales engagement product superior to the competition because of the extra technical foundations that we have already built from our database side, from our analytics side, and so on. So moving into the recent releases, happy to talk about some of the things that are new, and then we'll go into some of the things that are coming up. So one of the things that we recently released was a Google Calendar extension. So the point of building this was we were realizing that a lot of sales reps are on back-to-back calls all day with prospects, with clients, and so on. And in an ideal world, if you want to maximize your conversion rate on a discovery call, a demo, or so on, you need to personalize your conversation to the person that you're about to speak with. So we brought Apollo directly within your Google Calendar so that anytime you're looking at a meeting you're about to have, you can click the little Apollo button, and you'll be able to see whether they got recent funding, technologies they use, information on their company, recent activities you've had with them, so that you can get all of that research in one place at a glance and more easily personalize your conversations before going into the call. If you want to enable this, you just need to download the Chrome extension. On the top right where you see the Apollo logo, you want to click on that and toggle Google Calendar extension to be on. And then you'll be able to start to see this within your calendar and within your Gmail if you access your calendar from there. The second thing that we released recently was a Vidyard integration, and this is available on all plans. So typically as people start with outbound, a lot of people like to fully automate their messagings and fully automated emails and so on. But after a certain point, you want to increase your conversion rates and figure out how do you maximize the amount of replies you're getting and the amount of meetings that you're actually setting. One great strategy in order to do this is to personalize your content by creating videos for your prospects, for your high-tier prospects, so that they see that you've created something just for them that can communicate in a way better than what words would be able to, and they'll have a much higher likelihood of actually responding because of the level of personalization that you provide. So this is available right within our sequences and sales engagement platform already. On any templates, you should now be able to see a Vidyard icon. You can sign up for one of their free accounts to start using this. And I would highly recommend that for anyone that's trying to increase their conversion rates across sales engagement. The next piece is we've changed the way that we represent some of the insights that we have on contacts and accounts. So on any contact or account overview page within the actual platform, you'll be able to see that we've added some more insights here. So we already had technologies, funding rounds, job postings. We now have news data and employee trends. So the types of things that you can understand is how much has their company been growing, and by department as well. How much turnover have they had? Are people leaving the company? And where are their employees geographically within the United States or across the world? These are meant to be extra insights to help you personalize your messaging when you are reaching out to them over email or over the phone call, so that you can increase your chance again of actually getting their interest and setting meeting with them, because the conversation you're having is relevant to what's actually going on in their company. The fourth item here is we've built this feature called personas, which we had in the past available only for professional users and above. We've now made it available for free users as well, and have added locations as functionality that you can add into personas. And there are two key pieces of value here. One is whenever you create personas, Apollo will be using those personas to base our recommendations off of. So any part in the app where we're trying to recommend similar people that you should reach out to or things of that nature, we will be looking at your personas to see whether our recommendations actually fit the criteria of what you see as your key personas. Two is, as you're applying different searches, you'll easily be able to toggle personas on and off to always look for just the right people within whatever search you have applied. And last but not least, this is something that will be released within the next 7 days here, is live call coaching and whispering. So this is something that we've heard a lot of feedback from, especially as companies move into the remote world, is they're trying to figure out how they can coach their employees. Because previously, as you hire a new sales rep, people would sit in a room together and try to dial, and maybe they'll send notes to each other to talk about what should be sent on a phone call. Now with Apollo's live call coaching, a manager can join the call that a sales rep is having. They can speak to the sales rep while that call is going on without the prospect hearing at all. So if you're interested in this, please do be on the lookout. We'll be sending an email as well once this goes out in the next 7 days here. We're extremely excited to be able to provide this functionality so that remote teams can still up-level the way that they coach and develop their skills around phone calls. And moving into the next section, we'll talk about some of the things that are coming up next on the roadmap. So one thing that we've heard time and time again from recruiters is that they don't want to reach out to people from their business emails. They want to reach out to personal email addresses because then the candidate feels a little bit less worried about replying and having their mailbox tracked and so on. So in the next month, we'll be releasing personal email addresses, 94 million of them, for around 40% of the contacts in our database. Beyond that, we'll also be launching a Microsoft Exchange integration. So some of you that are free users right now might realize that our sequence feature is only available for users of Gmail. After the Microsoft Exchange integration is released, users that have any Microsoft-related domain, Outlook, Exchange 365, and so on, will be able to finally access our sequencing tools and be able to try them out on free plans. Third is personalization tips. So in the spirit of trying to ensure that our users are able to be more successful, drive more meetings, and drive higher conversion rates on their phone calls and messages, what we're looking to do is take all the deep research that Apollo already has on contacts and accounts and bubble up tips for you when you're about to call someone, or tips for you when you're about to message someone on things that might be relevant in helping you personalize your conversation. Next is our Salesforce App Exchange integration. So this has been a request mostly by larger customers for quite a while, which is having a native in-app Salesforce integration that will help analyze your data and help you clean it and keep it enriched, up to date, and with a 360-degree view of every contact and account directly within your CRM. So that's something that we expect to launch within the next 2 to 3 months here. And then last but not least is a CRM data center. So the point here is, as you know, like contacts change jobs usually every 2 to 3 years. And at that point, the data in your CRM can often become stale. And one of the biggest time sinks for sales representatives right now is when they're reaching out to people, calling them only to find that that person has left the company. So with our CRM data center, we're making it extremely easy for anyone to plug in their CRM, their Salesforce or HubSpot, immediately see how much data they have that is stale and incorrect, and how much data that they have that is unenriched. And then easily click a button to fix it and keep it proactively fixed automatically on a monthly basis from there. So I will say that there are some items we're also working on that we can't really discuss right now, unfortunately, just because we might have competitors that see this webinar and so on. Like, we would love to be able to share everything with you if we could, but part of our ability to maintain this competitive advantage is to be able to release things as a little bit of a surprise. So I will say that do be on the lookout for a few surprises over the next few months as well, working on some extremely exciting game-changing things that I guess you'll only be able to find out once we have actually launched it. Extremely excited about some of those as well. And I think, yeah, that's it in terms of what's been released, what's up next, and I'll pass it back to Ara.
Thank you, Krishan. We have some awesome questions. I think a great place to start would be a little bit around workflows. I know this is a feature that a lot of our customers love. And so we got asked, how do we envision the workflow with CRMs? There seems to be a lot of overlap, for example, with HubSpot sales and marketing tools.
Yeah, definitely. So with HubSpot specifically, HubSpot's sequencing or your email engagement tool is meant for inbound marketing. They specifically do not want to get into the outbound marketing world. So HubSpot is a partner for us. We do not see replacing them as a CRM. We think they're a fantastic free CRM tool, although Apollo already does have an opportunities feature, which is available on a professional plan, which some users prefer using as their CRM. That said, we want to continue to integrate with different types of CRMs and allow people to use Apollo as that top of funnel tool to fill their CRM with leads and engage those leads to actually convert them into meetings. Everything after the meeting we see still as like the core functionality of the CRM. We don't want to go head to head with HubSpot that already has a really great tool out there. We want to be able to provide additional functionality on top of that.
Awesome. Krishan, Mark asked a great question I liked too, around turnover. We know that people are changing jobs these days, maybe more than ever before, especially through the pandemic. How quickly, and tell us a little bit about the job updates and how quickly those are stood up in Apollo for our users.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm not sure if everyone here knows, but we have a job change alerts feature that is currently available on professional and custom plans. And on that feature, what it'll be able to do is it'll take everyone to a CRM and it'll show you whenever they've changed jobs. Typically, if a user has just changed jobs, we're able to find out once they've updated any social profiles such as LinkedIn, Facebook, things of that nature. So if I changed jobs today, but didn't update my LinkedIn until 1 month from now, then that's the time that Apollo will be able to pick up that they've changed jobs. And usually from the time that one of those social, social platforms have noticed or have been, have the data in there for a job change, we'll pick it up within 90 days.
Awesome. We're getting a lot of questions around LinkedIn automation and around multi-channel cadences. I know there's some technicalities around LinkedIn especially, but anything on the roadmap there, Krishan?
Yeah, definitely. So one thing to be aware of right now is that on professional plans, we do have LinkedIn steps available for viewing profiles, for sending messages. So that's something that I would highly encourage everyone to try out. You can use a free trial to see if that is something that works well for you. Now, when it comes to going beyond that, there are a few things that we have in mind in terms of the level of automation we can have with LinkedIn. So one thing to note is that fully automating LinkedIn messages is illegal, and that puts our users at risk of their LinkedIn accounts actually being banned. So we won't be able to go to full automation, but we are looking into semi-automation. So for example, once you have a task list of those LinkedIn steps or LinkedIn tasks within Apollo, being able to automate going down that list, opening the tab for you, having you click one button to be able to have it send, and then going back directly into the next one, and so on. So there are some things we can do to speed up the process of actually executing on LinkedIn tasks without compromising the security of your LinkedIn account or the integrity of ourselves as a company. And those are some of the things that we actually are looking into within the next 6 months here. So it might not be on the short term, released within the next 2 or 3 months, but it definitely is something that's on the roadmap.
Awesome, Christian. Also some questions around email deliverability, email domain and volume, anything across those categories?
Yeah, absolutely love to hear it, because this is also top of mind to us recently. So there's a few things that we're currently thinking of in terms of email deliverability. So one is just making some of our custom professional features around deliverability, such as subdomain tracking and so on, available to more users across other paid plans. That way everyone has the same access to actually improving deliverability. Two is actually providing some level of domain reputation tracking within Apollo, so that one, you can monitor your own reputation tracking in Apollo, but two is if we know that information, we will proactively be trying to provide you with insights on what you can do to improve your deliverability within Apollo. And then and that goes hand in hand with the theme of intelligence, which is we want to make sure that we help you be successful even if you don't know how to yourself. And then three is we are looking into ways to warm your domains, or help you warm your domains by ramping up your sending and sending to specific mailboxes that will have a high likelihood of opening and replying and so on, just for the purposes of mail warming. So that's another thing that we're looking into. That's more in the 6 to 12 month horizon.
I can answer one really quick. Rocco asked about future webinars and whether you'll get best practices. We're continuing as a marketing team to build out not just content, written content, but also live content around best practices. So we're trying to build out community more and more, but I would definitely encourage everyone to follow our LinkedIn and Twitter if you're active, because we're rolling out more and more content in bite-sized ways of how to best use Apollo's platform. Christian, anything in questions that stand out you'd like to answer?
Yeah, I think from questions, one other thing that was mentioned was, are there any plans on integrating with a email validation tool? Yeah, so when I mentioned the theme of best-in-class data, this is one of the things that we're looking into. So we're trying to figure out the trade-off between coverage and accuracy right now, where we do have a means to reduce the amount of total contacts in our database, but ensure that for every single one of those contacts, we have much higher accuracy rates. Or what we'll be able to do is just provide very good insight into when something might have much lower or much higher potential to bounce and so on. And we are looking at potential integrations with other email verification tools such as Never Bounce, ClearOut, and so on. So definitely something that we're looking into. Another thing that's likely in the 6 to 12 month roadmap. Yeah, I think someone else mentioned integrations with an existing email warming provider. Those are things that we're looking into, whether to provide some warming on our own or just integrate directly into one. So definitely something we're looking into. When it looks at international data, this is also a big focus for us within 2022, is how do we improve I think our email data internationally is relatively strong, but I think our phone number data internationally is relatively lackluster right now. So that is something that we're also looking into in 2022.
Anything on API developments, Christian?
Yeah, definitely. So on our API, so we're building an API portal right now, as well as increasing the amount of use cases, the data-related use cases that can be served through our API. So right now, there's more data you can access within our app versus data that you can actually access within our API. So that's something that we're looking to reconcile. We're looking to provide bulk enrichment functionality in the API. So if you have many records that you're looking to enrich, you don't have to do that all one by one anymore. You can do it all at once. And then in terms of API limitations, we're currently trying to figure out how we can structure our pricing and packaging for API in a more scalable way, because we do understand that there are a lot of constraints right now. And honestly, a lot of those constraints have been because of the way that we incur costs around the API right now. So we're trying to figure out, how do we just bring the best of both worlds where we can offer much higher limits to our users, but without incurring as much costs from our side, or being able to pass along some of those costs as well, just completely transparently. It's not something that we want to necessarily like make a ton of money from ourselves. It's more so that we just can't have this be something that kind of like bleeds us as a business. And then someone mentioned, how can you use Apollo with Outlook? So like I mentioned, we're launching a Microsoft Exchange integration, which will allow you to use our sales engagement tool with Outlook as well.
Maybe one more question, Christian, and we can close. Great questions, everyone.
Yeah, so there's some things around like login tracking, and just to confirm, is that being able to track your own internal users and how many of them are actually using Apollo and so on. If that is the question, so there's no current plan on the roadmap to be able to make that self-service accessible for our users in 2022. However, there is a way for you to access this data by reaching out to support or customer success right now. So our support and customer success teams will be able to show you who has used the platform in the last 7 days from your team, who has actually ever downloaded a lead from Apollo, who has ever sent an email from Apollo, things of that nature. So yeah, please do reach out to our customer success or support teams if you'd like some of that information. Also, nice to see some friendly faces in here that I haven't seen in quite a while. So.
Well, thank you, Christian. So we are Apollo. If you are new here, it is free to sign up for Apollo and to start using it today. So grab a test drive at apollo.io/sign up, or you can find the big sign up button on our webpage. We'd love you to give it a try and start using the tool. If you're already on Apollo, know that we have higher level plans with more and more features that Krishan was talking about today. So jump in there. And finally, in closing, we are just so grateful for you all for joining. I encourage everyone to follow us on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and Facebook. Ideally, if you're only doing one, join us on LinkedIn. For example, we have great new content. We have best practices. We launch our features through our social channels.
Yeah, thank you so much for the feedback, everyone. We really love to hear from our users.
Thank you, everybody, so much.